Tonight on Cronkite News, March Madness has begun. We highlight the Arizona teams competing in both of the tournaments.
Plus, we're joined by an NHRA drag race driver who returns after a hiatus.
And in news, Second Amendment legislation is advancing through the Arizona state capitol. You'll find out how it could potentially impact schools. Good evening and welcome into Cronkite News. I'm Jacob Brooks.
And I'm Dane Palmer. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, Dane, the first games of the NCAA women's basketball tournament tipped off last night, and ASU women's hoops is back in the big dance in the first four as a 10 seed.
Yeah, the team is set to play against the Virginia Cavaliers tonight, and our very own Cronkite News reporter Alexander Martinez joins us live from the tournament in Iowa City.
Head coach Molly Miller always believed her team could make it to this moment, and after a good showing in the Big 12 tournament, with wins over Arizona and Iowa State, the Sun Devils are dancing. This first four matchup marks the first time that ASU has made it to the tournament since 2019, where they will play Virginia here in Iowa City. This is also the second time that the Sun Devils have faced off against the Cavaliers, with the first happening in 2004, where ASU is victorious. This has been a dream season for Miller in her first year leading the program to its best start in program history at 15-0. It is also their best record since 2016. However, her availability is in question as she contracted a virus earlier this week and did not travel with the team. Will the Sun Devils continue to make history? We'll find out as tip-off is at 6 p.m. Arizona time, with the winner facing Georgia Saturday at 10:30 a.m. In Iowa City, Alexander Martinez, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Alex. This is the 18th time that Arizona State has made the NCAA tournament, with their best finish being in 2007 and also 2009, where the Sun Devils went on to make the Elite Eight.
Yeah, and as the team prepares to take on Virginia tonight, one player is hoping fans see their passion play out on the court.
Being able to kind of get that revenge game on Iowa State, I think we did take that personal, and we went in there with a different mindset, and I think everyone could see it when we were playing. So super, super excited to get this next opportunity, and hopefully we take it just as personal.
And now news that Molly Miller will be back to coach her team tonight. The team posted to X confirming her arrival in Iowa and at their pregame practice.
Yeah, great news for ASU women's basketball, Dane. And over on the men's side, the Arizona Wildcats are in San Diego preparing for their opening round matchup tomorrow against the Long Island University Sharks. Yeah, as the top seed in the West region, they're hoping to claw their way to the ultimate prize, a national championship. First things first, as our Gabby Chernoff joins us from San Diego. Gabby, how are the Wildcats looking ahead of their first game?
Hey guys, yeah, thanks so much. Nice weather here in San Diego. The Wildcats took the court for the first time this morning for their first practice ahead of the first round of the NCAA tournament. And the general consensus from the team seems to be that although it's a 1 versus 16 matchup, they're not taking anybody lightly. Head coach Tommy Wood has yet to make an Elite Eight appearance in his first full season as head coach of this Wildcat squad. And he said with only 2 losses on this year's schedule, they don't want to change anything from what they've been doing all year.
They're really scrappy, and they have hoopers. They've done a great job putting together a team that makes sense. I mean, they gotta, they're committed to a style of play. That's going to be, aggressive. Mostly man-to-man defense. They're really good in the gaps and really handsy. And then, offensively, their actions might not be complicated, but they have good individual players, and they put them in situations that they're comfortable in.
Arizona's freshman-heavy roster has been reliable all season long, and in order to accomplish what Lloyd wants, they'll have to be March ready.
Don't try and reinvent the wheel. You guys have been successful, throughout the whole season. I think they've done a great job of handling adversity and just handling the ups and downs of, the college basketball season. So
that means a lot, especially being a little kid watching it. You dream of being there and, playing in March Madness. So I'm super excited, for my first game tomorrow.
I told our freshmen, hey, if you guys want a state championship, yeah. Okay, let's just go win another state championship. And the way you win a state championship, you win a state championship game by game.
You just heard from Arizona freshman Nicola Pete. He's actually a 4-time Arizona high school champion, as Tommy Wood said. He's hoping to bring that glory to his college career and to his team all starting tomorrow.
Thanks, Gabby. Great work out there in San Diego. Let's move on to college golf because it's swinging into action here in State 48 as the University of Arizona hosted the 46th annual Arizona Thunderbirds Intercollegiate.
Yeah, our Cronkite News reporter Matt Araneta was down at the tournament at Tucson Country Club, witnessing the Wildcats' success and the Sun Devils' struggles.
The 46th annual Arizona Thunderbird Intercollegiate is in the books, as ASU led early but couldn't finish strong in the final round, as the Sun Devils tied for third, shooting 21 under.
Didn't really fit my game as good as other tournaments, but that's just how golf is.
The Wildcats placed first overall as the five-man team shot 25 under. In round 3, Filip Jakovčić shot 10 under, while Taishi Moto and William Bristrad both shot 7 under to secure victory.
Battled back, made 3 chip-ins on 9 holes. Something I don't expect really, but try and get out here today to shoot a low score for the team.
Home field advantage proves crucial, as the Wildcats have won the tournament in 8 of the last 9 years at their home course.
Shot one shot and just finishing strong. It's a special tournament because this is a home tournament for us.
With this win, the Wildcats moved to number 20 in the NCAA rankings, while the Sun Devils moved to number 8. In Tucson, Matt Araneta, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Matt. Arizona State will host the Thunderbird Collegiate at Papago Golf on April 10th and 11th.
Yeah, by the way, that's the very next tournament in Arizona this season.
Well, spring football practice is officially underway for the Sun Devils, and this marks the 4th season of the Kenny Dillingham era.
Yeah, that's right, Jacob. Spring practice is a time to get a first look at new faces and also a chance to highlight some of the biggest returners. After missing much of the 2025 season due to an ankle injury, redshirt junior running back Kyson Brown is back and healthy. This year's RB room has 3 other returners and 2 newcomers. Brown will be a key veteran player on offense and plans on using his experience to lead this year's team.
Last year, from then to now, kind of more vocal. I've always been a lead by example type of guy, not more of a rah-rah type of guy, but I think just the whole process allowed me to be more vocal and just express the things I've been through and the experiences I have.
Coming up next, race cars in downtown Phoenix?
Yes, Dane, race cars in downtown Phoenix. Everything from burnouts, drifts, and insane speed was all on display in a high-octane display.
It's a dream come true. First time seeing a Formula One car in person? Dude, it's a dream.
We'll take a deeper look at the show run spectacular that had the city at the rev limiter. Coming up on Cronkite News.
Plus, historic heat in the valley will continue through this weekend. Stay tuned for our full weather report coming up on Cronkite News.
Arizona has been a hotspot recently for racing, even Formula One making a pit stop in the Valley earlier this month.
That's right, Dane. I went down to check out the Red Bull Phoenix show run because Red Bull Racing has been a dominant force in Formula One, winning 8 drivers' championships and 6 constructors' championships, all since only 2010. So when they brought their cars down for some downtown F1 glory runs, it attracted a pretty big crowd. Red Bull Racing shut down Jefferson Street for its Phoenix show run, which featured plenty of talented drivers in show-stopping racing vehicles. But the apple of everyone's eye was the Red Bull RB7, their 2011 championship-winning Formula One car.
It's a dream come true. First time seeing a Formula One car in person? Dude, it's a dream.
People were climbing on signs, packing rooftops, and traveling from afar just to catch a glimpse of the action.
I drove 6 hours to get here. So that's how, dedicated F1 fans are.
Red Bull reported that over 35,000 fans came to the show run, a reflection of Formula One's recent growth within the States.
I think it's growing. I think it's growing because I wasn't a fan 2 years ago. Look where I'm at today.
Many don't know that this actually wasn't the first time F1 cars have come roaring down Jefferson, as Phoenix actually hosted the United States Grand Prix from 1989 to 1991, with all-time legend Ayrton Senna winning 2 of those races. Locals who know the lore want to see the sport come back to the Valley.
I think everyone here would appreciate it very much. We used to have it here, so bringing it back would be an amazing thing. They would definitely have a lot of sales. As you can see, there's a lot of people around right now.
Formula One is my jam. That's my bread and butter. I watch it every Sunday. Phoenix has such a huge motorsports fan base. Attendance and excitement for the race, bro. They'd be golden if they brought a race here.
While it's unclear if Formula One would ever come back to Phoenix, one thing's for certain: the love for motorsport here in the Valley is very real. Well, if you're interested in Formula One, there will be 3 F1 races on U.S. soil this year, with the Miami Grand Prix on May 3rd, the U.S. Grand Prix in Austin, Texas on October 25th, and the Las Vegas Grand Prix on November 21st. Dan, I'll actually be in Austin for that race.
Well, that's great stuff, Jacob. I mean, great package as well, but looks like it's going to be a great time here in Arizona. The NHRA is coming back into town this weekend, and our own Grace Johnson is here with Arizona resident and NHRA racer Leah Pruett. Grace?
I'm joined now by Leah Pruett, NHRA racer and 8-time champion. Just tell me, what's it like being back in Arizona racing and as an Arizona resident?
Exciting for sure, especially since I had taken the last 2 years off to start a family. I couldn't be more pumped. I know people are very much maybe concerned about the heat, right? But we're not. I thrive in the heat. I love living in Arizona, but man, like, we are ready to burn some nitro.
Well, like you mentioned, you took a few years off to start a family with your husband, Tony Stewart, who's also a fellow racer. Just what has that journey been like for you?
You know, being married to what I consider and many other people consider the world's best wheelman. He can race anything. He's won in everything. But those that don't know, right, he races Top Fuel. I race Top Fuel, and there is a chance, more than likely, you know, at any time we can line up next to each other. You know, we're both pumped, excited, but we know no matter what happens, we're still married and have a family, and all will be okay. But you know, drag racing is there's only one winner, you know, so. We are, I'm pretty sure, the fastest couple in the world, both going over 330 miles an hour. So it's exciting, it's unique, and something we thrive on every week.
Yeah, well, you started your family. Do you feel like being a mom has changed you as a racer at all?
I do feel that it's changed me as a racer, and I get to compound old Leah with new mom to where I don't take things as seriously. The intensity is still there, but I know that there's a family to come back to. Also, seeing families at the racetrack, I have a whole different respect for the dynamic.
Well, there's a chance you might race against your husband even this weekend. What would those emotions feel like in the driver's seat, knowing that he's in the car right next to you?
When you're firing up your 12,000 horsepower Top Fuel dragster and you are focused on hitting your marks and doing everything right, those thoughts of who you're racing against leave. I mean, we do say we are racing the racetrack and not necessarily who's in the other lane, but only time will tell. And you know, who's going to be the quicker off the line and who's going to have the faster race car? We'll see.
I love it. Well, I wanted to ask you about your book too. You brought it here for us to show, but just what kind of inspired you to write this?
Absolutely. So when I first had our son Dominic, he was only 3 months old, and I thought, man, he loves, I mean, he's clearly not reading, but he loves books, and to this day he loves books. And so I thought it would be very cool to put in some words, ABC, the entire alphabet of what it's like to race and motorsports wise, right? So A for acceleration, B for burnout, and not only is it just teaching children the alphabet, but there are QR codes inside that also give a read along. So the parent will scan that, and I read along with the parent, and then there's educational games that go with it, and they update quarterly throughout the year. So for me, the inspiration was my son, and just seeing, you know, how important motorsports are in general, but the attitude behind winning, which means never giving up, and I like to combine them all together.
Yeah, well, you're an author, a world champion, a new mom. You also have a YouTube series that you just released a few weeks ago. So what's next on your goals?
Winning. Yeah, winning this weekend here in Arizona. For me, the goal is to get the Racer Dean Top Fuel Dragster in the winner circle for the 3rd time here at the Arizona Nationals.
Wow, such a great message. Well, best of luck this weekend, Leah.
Thank you so much.
Great job with that interview, Grace. And if you're heading out to the races this weekend, you're probably going to need some sunscreen.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot one this weekend, Jacob. So our very own Matthew Pierce joins us from the Cronkite Weather Center with our forecast.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, things are certainly heating up here in the valley as we say goodbye to winter and say hello to spring, but more on that here in a little bit. If we go ahead and take a look at what we're expecting here tonight over at 6 p.m., 101 degrees, getting as low as 86 at 10 p.m., so certainly not the biggest drop off, and you're going to want to make sure you might stay in the t-shirt and some shorts here tonight as the night progresses, which brings me to the lows of the state here in Arizona. 69 here in the valley, Quartzsite 71. If we take a look up north, they're enjoying the last of the winter weather. 37, Grand Canyon 36. So if you're up north, you're definitely getting a little lucky as the valley progresses into spring. You guys are sticking behind a little bit, so good on you guys. But what this really tells me, what this map really tells me, is that it's really hot here in Arizona. As we know, there's purple all over the screen, which is, you know, not great, as we've been seeing record-breaking highs. The Gila Bend, Yuma, 108 degrees. Make sure you guys are careful with the heat out there. Here in the valley, 106. So almost as hot as those other western cities, which brings me to the heat dangers. Make sure you guys are tracking your symptoms. Heat exhaustion, heat stroke, very dangerous. One of them you can handle on your own, heat exhaustion, you know, hydrate, rest, that kind of stuff. Get out of the sun. But heat stroke, if you're experiencing one or multiple of those symptoms over a prolonged period, make sure you call 911 and get that checked out. Which brings me back to the 8-day forecast. Let's go ahead and track what we have the following week. Like I said, spring starts tomorrow, super exciting, but we're going to see 106 degrees tomorrow and Saturday. Thankfully, some cloud coverage will come in to save us, but we're not dropping under 100 as it forecasts currently, and the lows are going to hover between 69 and 70. For now, that's the ball game. I'm Matthew Pierce here in the Weather Center.
Coming up next, a look at tonight's top news headlines, including a possible overhaul of U.S. elections.
Yeah, lawmakers and voters alike are split on these changes and how it could impact election security.
I'm voting for voter ID, so only U.S. citizens vote in our elections, only American money goes in our elections, and we count the votes when they're cast.
Find out what AZ officials hope to change about voter election laws coming up on Cronkite News.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Abby Jurek, and we'll look at tonight's news headlines. The Second Amendment protects the right of people to keep and bear arms. Cronkite News reporter Tyler Mitchell attended a press conference where community members and leaders discussed concerns about recent bills.
Thanks, guys. Today at the Capitol, Women's for Gun Rights held a press conference with state lawmakers to discuss 3 bills regarding the Second Amendment.
House Bill 2076 establishes the Save Our Children School Safety Program. to strengthen school safety through employee training, but some are against.
In my opinion, this was a bad bill last year, and it's a bad bill this year. We've already heard it. We've already gone through committee. The governor has already vetoed it. Why? Because it is not safe for our students.
Those in favor feel that students should know how to conduct themselves if they ever see a gun and how to avoid those fears.
We really need to educate small children, our young children, you know, what the responsibilities are if they ever come across a gun. And I think that will alleviate a lot of the fears about, you know, children being harmed or losing their life over a gun.
In this meeting, they also talked about 2 other Senate bills. Senate Bill 1012 was transmitted to the House in March, while Senate Bill 1424 passed the House Education Committee. Both bills are moving through the 57th Legislature's second regular session. In Phoenix, Tyler Mitchell, Cronkite News.
Each of these bills have passed through the state Senate. Next, House members will take it up. As Congress considers the Save America Act that could overhaul the nation's elections, Republican leaders in the Arizona legislature have presented their own amendment to the state's constitution, which is facing major backlash. I was at the Capitol yesterday and heard from people on all sides of this issue. Inside an Arizona House committee hearing on elections.
It's such a convoluted issue.
Republican leaders shared their vision to make Arizona elections faster and ensure that only citizens vote by proposing the Fast Election Results Act, which would amend the state's constitution, and call for voters to show a valid government ID before casting their ballots, prompting debate in the hearing.
I'm worried about my own identity being stolen or my own identity being compromised by this rule. So to us, that's a serious concern.
I'm voting for voter ID, so only U.S. citizens vote in our elections, only American money goes in our elections, and we count the votes when they're cast.
Republican leadership said the amendment would also change the deadline for mail-in ballots, making it earlier than Election Day.
Do you want one that's faster and more convenient? Or do you want the same old failed system?
In 2020, 89% of ballots cast in the general election were early ballots, raising concern how this change could impact the majority of voters in Arizona.
We have 10 counties that are currently central count counties, and they would have to be on-site tabulator counties under this bill.
This comes as the federal Save America Act makes its way through the U.S. Senate, which could eliminate mail-in voting completely. The proposed amendment passed through the committees in both the House and Senate on Wednesday and is expected to be heard on the floor. Turning to international news, the Prime Minister of Japan is the first major leader allied with the U.S. to meet with President Trump amid the war in Iran. Trump has been pressing allies for help in the Middle East and with protecting the Strait of Hormuz. Today, he said the war in Iran could be ending soon.
Iran is a serious threat to the world, to the Middle East and to the world. And everybody agrees with me. Oil prices will go up, the economy will go down a little bit. I thought it would be worse, much worse, actually. I thought there was a chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon.
Multiple U.S. allies have rejected Trump's plea to join war efforts, including the United Kingdom. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said British troops required a thought-through plan before getting involved. The Pentagon is now seeking White House approval on a request for more than $200 billion to fund the war. The request is stirring mixed reviews from lawmakers.
I will not vote for a war supplemental. No, I am a no. I've already told leadership I am a no on any war supplementals. I am so tired of spending money elsewhere.
Price of letting Iran move forward in the way they were is far more costly. You know, when I'm at, nobody asked what did it cost to win World War II. You just had to win.
Are also against the funding. This money would be on top of the already approved 2026 annual defense budget. That's it for tonight's Cronkite News Report. I'm Abby Jurek. Thanks for joining us. Now back to Jacob and Dane.
Thanks, Abby, for the news. Coming up next, just when we thought that most dinosaurs were extinct, Dane, one of them made a comeback, but this time it's fossilized.
Yeah, and this dinosaur isn't your average T-Rex either. Find out which dino species is making its comeback for the first time in more than a century.
Welcome back into Cronkite News. Researchers have put a name to a new species of dinosaur that was found in February.
Yeah, the discovery dates the Spinosaurus mirabilis to have lived about 95 million years ago. A team from the University of Chicago discovered a fossilized skull and jawbones buried in the Saharan desert, making this find the first Spinosaurus to be identified in more than a century.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Jacob Brooks.
And I'm Dane Palmer. Thank you so much for joining us.